So you did everything right. You finished your sterile processing program, you aced your certification exam, and you were all set to jump into your new career. But why can't you get hired? Let's talk about it because this is a really frustrating and honestly a super common problem.
This is the big question, isn't it? It's probably the one that's keeping you up at night. You've got the certificate, you put in all that work, but the job offers just aren't coming through. And that is an incredibly frustrating spot to be in. It's totally normal to start wondering, okay, what am I doing wrong here? Well, let me just say the most important thing you need to hear right now. It is not just you. Seriously, this is a hidden reality in the industry that, for some reason, nobody really talks about when you're in school. It's a huge barrier that just stops so many talented new grads cold, right before they even get a chance to start.
And this brings us to what I call the certified but stuck loop. It feels like this vicious cycle you can't break out of, and it's all built around one major, frustrating contradiction: the experience paradox. You know this one, right? It's the classic catch-22. You see it on pretty much every job posting. Even the ones that say entry level, they want 1 to 2 years of experience. But how on earth are you supposed to get that experience if no one will give you the job to begin with? This paradox is exactly where so many promising new techs get completely stuck. So why does this even happen? To really get it, we need to take a step back from our own job applications for a second and try to see things from the hospital's perspective. There are some real practical reasons they filter for experience, and a lot of the time, it has less to do with you and way more to do with their own daily struggles. Look, from the hospital's point of view, it all comes down to efficiency. They are often running on fumes with teams that are already overworked. A tech who has experience can just hit the ground running, almost no supervision needed. But training a new hire, well, that takes time, it takes money, and it means pulling another experienced tech away from their work to train you. And when a department is already short-staffed, hiring someone who doesn't need any training just feels like the easiest path for them. Okay, so the next piece of this puzzle is figuring out who you're really competing with. It's so easy to think your main competition is just other people who just graduated, but the reality is, the applicant pool is way, way bigger than that. For every single one of those entry-level jobs you're applying for, you're also going up against experienced techs who are just looking for a change, traveling techs whose contracts just ended, and even people who already work at the hospital in another department, and those internal folks often get first priority. All of a sudden, it's a very, very crowded room. And yeah, having that realization can be a massive shock. You were told this is a high-demand field, and it is. But what they don't always mention is that the demand is usually for experienced technicians. Now, knowing this isn't meant to discourage you, not at all. It's about understanding the real challenge so you can build a smarter strategy. And all of this is going down while the real-world clock is just ticking away, right? You can't wait forever for that one perfect job to pop up because, life doesn't just pause for a job search. And that pressure, it builds up fast. It always starts with the practical stuff. Rent is due, the bills are stacking up, but then this other kind of pressure starts to creep in, and it's a big one: doubt. You start questioning everything: your career choice, your skills, your whole future in this field. And that combination of financial stress and self-doubt is incredibly tough. And eventually, a lot of new grads just hit a breaking point. The financial strain, the emotional drain, it all becomes too much, and they decide they just have to move on, take whatever job they can find in a totally different field just to pay the bills. And that's how this industry loses so many amazing, talented people before they even get started. But here is the secret. This is the part they don't teach you in your certification course. If the front door seems locked, you don't have to just keep banging on it until you give up. There are other ways in. You just have to know where to look for the side doors. So let's talk about these side doors. Per diem, which is basically on-call work, can be a fantastic way to get your foot in the door. Smaller places like clinics and surgery centers, they're often way more willing to train new people. And hey, even taking a different entry-level job at a hospital, like patient transport or something, can get you known internally and lead to a transfer down the line. It's about getting inside and getting noticed. Remember, the goal right now isn't the perfect job. The goal is the first job. Okay, this brings us to a really crucial mental shift. How you think about this whole challenge will literally determine whether you quit or you break through. So you have to ask yourself, are you facing rejection, or do you just need to reposition yourself? See, if you look at this as rejection, it becomes personal. It feels like you're not good enough, and man, that is a heavy, heavy weight to carry. But
What if you reframe it? What if you see it as a repositioning problem? All of a sudden, it's not personal anymore. It's an external puzzle that needs to be solved. The issue isn't that you're not good enough, it's that your strategy needs a tweak. Shifting from an emotional problem to a tactical one, that changes everything. So the big takeaway here is this. Just sending out hundreds of the same application probably isn't the answer. This is about being strategic, thinking about where you apply, how you present yourself, and being flexible enough to grab that first opportunity, even if it's not perfect, to get that experience everyone's asking for. I really want to leave you with this thought. It is so easy to feel completely defeated when all you're hearing back from employers is silence. It's easy to start thinking you made a huge mistake. Please, whatever you do not let that silence convince you to quit. You are not behind, you are not failing, you are simply at the hardest part of this entire career journey, that first step of breaking in. Just remember, every single experienced technician you see out there had to get their first job at some point. This struggle you're in right now, it's a temporary but very real rite of passage. Stay strategic, stay consistent, and remember that every no you get is just a piece of data you can use to make your approach better. You have the certification, you have the knowledge, and you are so much closer to landing that first role than you probably feel right now. Don't give up.